just not following through on what we asked him to do. And even simple things that were developmentally appropriate, you know, put your shoes on or hang your coat up or pick up the toys or whatever. And we could tell that it wasn't from a spirit of defiance. It was just, you know, kind of going in one ear and out the other. And I think he wanted to please us, but I think he was as frustrated with himself as we were with him. And so that was a lot of it. Just not being able to sit still and listen and pay attention to things that, if it was something that that interested him, he was all over it. It was trains or Legos or something like that, he could be absorbed for hours. But if it was some, you know, some of the less interesting things, he didn't do so well. And it began to really have an impact on his schooling, even as far back as his first year of preschool. You know, there were things that the preschool teacher said, you know, it just, yeah, he's a little boy, and yeah, they're jittery and that sort of thing, but he's even more so than the other kids. And so the best comment that we got was from his kindergarten teacher. She said, I get the sense that Justin isn't really sure why he's here. And that was a really good way to describe what was happening. He kind of just floated along the day and spent a lot of time just kind of doing his own thing, interacting with his peers, but when it came time to learn, it was like, no, I'll just wander the room, or I'll, you know, play with this or whatever. And of course, a teacher in a classroom that's busy and distracted and has, you know, 24 other students to look after can't focus all of her energy on just that one child that's getting off track. So he, you know, would oftentimes just kind of goof around. I think we knew from a very young age that there was something different about Justin, because even from when he was a baby, we knew that he could hyper-focus on things, and so there was something that made him exceptional. The fact that he was struggling academically and falling behind, but yet we knew that he was bright, there became, you know, that disconnect. When we took him for initial testing to a psychiatrist, they gave him a test and determined that he had the set of symptoms that would be labeled attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. But we didn't feel like that was really the whole picture. And the psychiatrist actually recommended LearningRx. And when we brought him here and he took those tests, they were able to show me on a graph exactly what his specific problems were. And the gal that I sat down and talked with asked me a series of questions and said, does he do this? Does he do that? And it was like she knew him, like she'd been following him around his whole life. And so we were really amazed. And that was the first time that anybody could pinpoint exactly where his disability, if you want to call it that, was coming from, and exactly what they could do to fix it. So we were really excited. I feel like somebody unlocked a door in his mind, and he now can interact with the rest of the world. I know that sounds really strange, but it used to be like we would ask him, what did you have for lunch at school today? It was a very basic question. I don't know. Well, you know, was it something that you liked? I don't know. So he couldn't even articulate, you know, or anything that happened at school or something that happened at church or anything like that. He just had no sense of how to put all that together and communicate that. Now he can. He can go into great detail. One of the things he was really excited about recently was the Eagle Cam that showed the eagles and the baby eagles being born. And he would come home and talk our leg off about the baby eagles did this and the baby eagles did that. And not only was he interested in the eagles, but the technology that went along with it. And it was like, we have our son, you know, now we can communicate and talk with him and engage with him, and we can teach him things and he can learn, and it's like it unlocked his mind. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And it's not like it's just academic, it's social, it's emotional, it's in his family. I mean, all of those sorts of things that he can even communicate with his grandparents more and open up to them and have a deeper relationship, really, because he can articulate more of what he thinks, and his sense of humor has really grown, you know, because he's so much more observant and able to, his favorite thing to do is quote movies. And so he used to do it at really random times, and we were going, what? That doesn't make any sense. Now he can quote movies in a way that's relevant to the conversation, and it's really funny. So We get a kick out of him. The teacher just cannot go on and on about how wonderful. Well, first of all, I have to say that the teacher that he had this year was absolutely outstanding. I wish every kid could have a teacher as wonderful as her. But she has just really been a partner with him and with us in moving him forward, and she's just been blown away by the progress that he's made. He was in 3 different levels of, or 3 different pieces of special reading help. His area of shortcoming was in reading specifically. So he was in 3 different levels of reading help. There was one-on-one time with the teacher, he met with a reading specialist, and then there was like a small group time. They have actually taken him out of all 3 of those. And now he's just in regular mainstream classroom setting because he can function and he can work with his peers and not get distracted, and he can raise his hand and answer questions in the classroom, which he never did that before. So she's blown away, and so are the reading specialists, the principal, and everybody. Absolutely. Absolutely. I already have many times, and I also let the psychiatrist know that it was a great recommendation. I let his pediatrician know. I just met with her the other day and I said, please, if anybody comes in here with a child that's struggling in school, ADHD or anything like that, please refer him to LearningRx, because medication takes you so far, but you really have to be able to teach a child how to use the brain they've got in order for them to carry on, through life. And that's what LearningRx really does.